Cryptors creak and the tombstones quake.
Some mouthful swing and wake.
Happy haunts materialize
And begin to vocalize. Grim grinning ghosts come out to socialize.
So, they're remaking Pet Sematary. I say this like it's news or something, as the rumor of a remake has been around since 2006. I'm cautiously optimistic for this remake, as the actors casted seem perfect for the role, and Stephen King is again at the screenplay helm. Jason Clarke is casted as Louis Creed. I only know him as Malcolm from Dawn of the Planet of the Apes.
Go! Okay.
Amy Seimetz is Rachel Creed. She played Ferris in Alien Covenant. Dick move.
And the one actor I'm most excited to see is John Lithgow as Judd Crandall.
Most remember him as Dr. Solomon from Third Rock from the Sun, a show I definitely need to start watching.
Not in the car, not in the bar, not in the house, not up your blouse. I cannot touch you here or there. I cannot touch you anywhere. Well, it started it.
I, however, will always know him from the Showtime series Dexter.
Hello, Dexter Morgan.
Where he played Arthur Mitchell, spoiler alert, also known as the Trinity Killer. I'd say more about the rest of the cast, but as the filming of this episode, nothing else has really come out cast-wise aside from the kids who have no previous acting credits for the most part. I gotta admit though, I was a little disappointed to find out that Andy Muschietti expressed interest in doing this remake, but ultimately didn't. You might not recognize his name, but you definitely know his work. He directed the awesome movie Mama, and more notably...
Hiya, Georgie.
The project went to dual directors Kevin Cloche and Dennis Widmeyer. Apparently they directed the Valentine's Day segment of the horror anthology movie Holidays. Both directors have some horror movie background and...
I refrain judgment until I actually see it.
But Jenny Fair, you say, why are you talking about a movie that's still filming? Hold your horses there, little missy. I just wanted to give my thoughts on the remake since it'll be out faster than you know. But I guess since you came all this way...
Why not talk about the original?
The movie opens quietly, introducing us to the pet cemetery through the voices of children reading the markers of their pets as this gorgeous, creepy orchestra plays. Hey, question. Does this sound anything like the Amityville horror theme? Is it just me? Am I a crazy person? Well, anyways, the next scene is where we meet our happy little family. Louis is played by Dale Midcalf. Rachel is played by Denise Crosby. Ellie is played by twin sisters Bo and Blaze Burdell. Gage is played by Miko Hughes. And then there's Winston Churchill by what?
Holy shit, look at the size of that house! I should have been a doctor.
Ellie wastes no time heading towards an old tire swing, which I'm pretty sure is stable and totally won't break, and oh, okay, well, there you go.
Ah, Jesus, you fell like 1 foot, relax.
While Louis and Rachel tend to one kid, Gage almost gets killed by foreshadowing, but is saved by one of the best characters in the movie.
Judd Crandall. I live just across the road.
Yay! I grew up watching The Munsters and the Addams Family on TV Land, so it's pretty awesome seeing him here. Judd introduces himself to the family, and Rachel asks about the trail Ellie noticed before her fall.
Yeah, that's a good story. A good walk. I'll take you up there sometime.
He put it back up? Why? You're a doctor. Get a swing set.
Need a glass?
Not at all.
Good for you.
In the book, Judd had a wife, Norma, who passes away during the events of the story, and Louis lost his father at a young age. Even without knowing that, their instant bond is visible.
Here's your bones.
And your bones.
Man, I wish I had a house with a porch that I could drink beer on and judge people who pass my lawn and keep anything that landed on it. Oh my god, he's such a cute kid.
Boys have a penis, girls have a vagina.
Even fucking cuter.
Always thought it would be lucky to marry a doctor. Wish I had a doctor around with my stomach pain so bad. Guess I'll never be lucky.
Oh, well, nice talking to you, Missy.
The next day, the family takes a nice walk to the pet cemetery. Weird.
Let's get on with it.
Yay!
We're going to a cemetery!
There's the place.
What's it say, Mommy?
It says Pet Cemetery, honey. It's misspelled, but that's what it says.
Wait, did she just ask what it says? Isn't she like 10?
They arrive, and it seems like Judd failed to mention where the trail led because Rachel looks pissed.
There's something good come of it.
How can you call it a good thing? A graveyard for pets killed in the road, built by broken-hearted children.
She's treating him like he's the one that actually killed all these pets.
Well, they have to learn about death somehow, now don't they, Mrs. Creed?
Why?
So they know if they jump off from someplace high with an umbrella, they're more likely going to die?
I love the look exchange here between Judd and Lewis. Women, am I right? Judd points out where he buried his dog Spot and shares some wisdom with Ellie.
This ain't a scary place, Ellie. It's a place of rest and speaking. Can you remember that?
Yes, sir.
Later that night, Ellie and Lewis have a talk about Church dying.
He's not God's cat, he's my cat. But God gets only if he wants one. Not mine. Not right.
Well, Ellie, if we're gonna go down this road, technically, it would be God's cat because he created it. You're just its custodian. So if he wants his goddamn cat back, he's gonna take his goddamn cat back. Church is like, God damn it, I don't want to sleep under this blanket.
The next morning, Ellie whines about something. I don't know. I don't really care. And Rachel makes Lewis promise Ellie that Church won't die while he's getting his nuts cut off. Ellie's words, not mine.
I don't want Church to get his nuts cut, Daddy.
But if anything does happen while he's under the gas, now it's a 1 in 1,000 shot, but it does happen. You explain it to her.
You know, just because she's not in the shot doesn't mean she doesn't have ears, Lewis.
You know, I can take a look at that for you.
It'll pass. They always do.
Didn't she just complain in the last scene that she was in that she wished she married a doctor so he could do something about her stomach pains?
Still friends, Doc?
That look was kind of threatening, wasn't it?
I kissed him.
Aw, what a cute little scene. I bet the next scene is him giving lollipops to kids and oh my god!
Need large bores. All right, get an ambulance here and get it right now. You've got to go to EMC. I know it won't, but for God's sake, let's do it by the rules, okay? Now move.
Don't sass me, woman. Who's the doctor here?
So this leaking fellow is Victor Pascal, and he makes one hell of a first impression.
How did you know my name?
Ugh, this whole thing with Victor Pascal creeps the shit out of me.
Come on, Doc. We've got places to go. Come on, Doc. Don't make me tell you twice.
You know, I don't think I'd want to irritate a ghost man who's real adamant about you following him.
Lewis is such a doctor, it looks like he sleeps in medical scrubs.
Pascal walks into the pet cemetery and gives him some cryptic warnings.
The barrier was not meant to be crossed. The ground beyond is solid.
Lewis wakes up from the supposed dream to find out that he had Taco Bell last night. I'm kidding, it's mud.
I think you're supposed to hold on to those medical files. I don't think you can just throw them away, even if the person died.
Thanksgiving has reached the Creed house and Rachel and the kids are on their way to visit her parents. Lewis and the in-laws don't get along very well, and I don't really understand why. I mean, have they seen that jawline? Oh, sorry, I went somewhere else there for a moment. The family leaves and Lewis receives a call from Judd saying he found a dead cat in his yard.
Yep. That shirt's all right.
At least it don't look like he suffered.
Well, Ellie will suffer. She'll suffer plenty.
Maybe there's a better way.
Turn him into an evil zombie kitty. That's easier than talking to him, right? Being honest with him. Yes, I know it's the Micmac burial ground.
They head toward the pet cemetery, but Judd has a much longer journey in mind. Now, I've heard people whinge about how stupid Judd is for taking Lewis up there knowing full well what will happen to Church, but it's really not hard to piece it together if you think about it at all. Judd is being used by the Micmac burial ground. Well, actually, whatever it is that resides in it. It took an interest in Lewis and used Judd to get to him. It's not mentioned in the movie, but in the book, Lewis comments on how good he feels, like being high on a drug while they're climbing the side of the mountain. It's the reason Lewis follows Judd all the way up. The burial ground is luring Lewis there by making him feel really good.
Oh my god, just fling it over the deadfall and be done with it.
Judd, what's that?
Just a loon, that's all.
In the book, there's a Wendigo in the forest, and I think this is a reference to that.
They make it to the holy ground where it takes Lewis like 6 hours to break the dirt and bury the cat.
What did we do tonight, Judd?
What we did, Lois, was a secret thing. Women are supposed to be the ones who are good at keeping secrets.
You don't know very many women, do you, Judd?
The soil of a man's heart, Lois, is stonier. The soil up there in the old Micmac burying ground.
He's just gonna rake his 12-acre land. You'll be done by next fall.
Ah, the hell with it. As Lewis enters the garage, Undead Church makes his return.
Jesus. Church.
Oh, and Lewis's reaction is way more subtle than mine would be. Lewis is a tad confused that a very dead cat is now being a real dick to him and goes to Judd to find out what the hell he made him do.
Well, I feel like I'm going crazy.
It was the rag man told me about the place. He knew how I felt about my dog, Spot. Spot had got caught in barbed wire that infected. You still see the barbed wire marks on him.
John, come and get your dog! He stinks to the ground you buried him in! John!
Spot came back all right. It was never quite the same dog that I knew.
Then Lewis asks the question that would be the first in anybody's mind.
Has anyone ever buried a person up there?
Christ on his throne, no. Whoever would.
I think Judd might be lying.
Lewis takes a bath and we get a glimpse of sexy Metcalf's calves when Church decides to give him a bath bomb.
How do you like my present, bitch?
How the hell did you get in here?
I love this little yelp he makes when he steps on the dead rat. The family's back from Thanksgiving vacation, but the happy reunion is short-lived as Missy, their housekeeper, hangs herself.
And now, may the Lord bless you and keep you.
Hey, I know you.
My father used to have a saying, Judd. God sees the truth, but waits.
How's your cat, Lois?
It's Ellie's cat.
No. It's your cat now.
Ha! Take that, Lewis. Once again, Ellie and her father speak about death and what happens when people die.
And different people believe all sorts of different things. Some believe in heaven or hell, and some think we come back as little children, and some think we just wink out.
Do you believe that?
Yeah, Doc. Do you?
No. I think we go on. Yeah. I have faith in that.
You believe in it.
I think he handles the conversation well, and evidently so did Rachel, as it gets her to open up about her traumatizing past and why she's so afraid of death.
She was in the back bedroom like a dirty secret. My sister died in the back bedroom.
Zelda had spinal meningitis.
I had to feed her sometimes. I hated it.
Zelda would be going through extreme pain from the spine, seizures, painful stiffness in the joints in the back. The list goes on and on.
You know, in the original script, Zelda was only going to be mentioned in passing, and this was going to be completely cut, and I am so glad they didn't, because goddamn, Zelda is creepy.
And they'll say I murdered her by choking. They'll say you hated her, Rachel, and that was true.
In this movie, it looks like Zelda's about like late teens, early 20s. In the book, she's way closer to Rachel's age. So imagine that, only a little girl going through it. Yeah.
I ran out of the house screaming, Zelda's dead! Zelda's dead! Zelda's dead!
Who are they? And why were they in the house?
Should have never been left alone with her, Rachel. Never.
Yeah, I'm with Lewis here. What kind of asshole parents leaves an 8-year-old to watch after somebody who could die at any moment? If they were so rich, why didn't they hire a nurse?
Not to mention the fact that Zelda would have been on a very strict antibiotic schedule and would need constant care of a medical professional, not a 9-year-old. These parents were damn lucky no one called CPS on their asses.
Stephen King's got good taste in music.
Ah, look at the all-American family having a picnic and flying a kite. Sure hope nothing bad happens.
Oh, look at his little run.
The wind picks up, which sends the kite flying away from Gage, who chases it. The adults realize what's happening, and Lewis and Judd make a mad dash to him. But sadly...
It is so clever how they did this scene, by the way, because at no point was Miko in front of the truck, and they did not use any type of green or blue screen.
His wail of agony here is so authentic, it gives me chills every time I hear it.
God, Dale Midkiff is such a good actor.
Now, another complaint I've heard about this scene was, oh, how come they just didn't put up a fence? That would have stopped this whole thing from happening. These people must have a selective memory, because the next time Judd and Lewis have another one of their heart-to-hearts, the exchange is this.
You're telling me that place knew Gage was going to die?
I'm saying that the place might have made Gage die, because I introduced you to the power.
The burial ground wanted Gage. Not to mention the fact that even if the fence was put up, the burial ground would have found a way to knock it down. Like a drunk driver could run into the fence, flee the scene, and no one notice until it's too late. Or Gage found a loose piece of fence to crawl through. And even if you want to say that a fence would have stopped Gage from dying here,
it's an evil burial ground. It would have found some other way to kill Gage.
At the funeral for our little Gage, Rachel's father has some really unfair shit to say to Lewis.
I hope you rot in hell! Where were you when he was playing in the road? You killer of children!
Oh, I'm sorry, because Gage only had one parent.
So freaking Thunderdome breaks out at this child's funeral and Gage's casket is knocked over. After the funeral, Judd pays Lewis a visit.
You're thinking of putting him up there. Don't deny the thought hadn't crossed your mind, Lois.
Judd finally admits that a person had actually been buried in the Micmac burial ground previously.
His name was Timmy Bateman. His father, Bill Bateman, was grief-struck. He was so grief-struck, he buried his son up there before he ever had a chance to get to the bottom of the truth.
Now, a thing you have to keep in mind while watching this movie is the reanimated corpses aren't the people they were before. It's the entity that lives in the burial ground, perverting and speaking through them.
The place is evil. Sometimes dead is better.
God, that's creepy.
Lewis sends Rachel and Ellie back with the in-laws, telling Rachel he'll be along as soon as he finishes up some work.
I am sorry. What can I say? I lost my mind. We all lost our minds, Erwin.
Dude, Rachel, red flags.
There's no way in hell I would leave my husband alone after we lost a child. There's just no way, because I know Rachel has no idea what he's planning on doing, but aren't you a little worried you're gonna come home and you're gonna find him hanging in the basement or with a bullet through his mouth? I couldn't, no, I'm not blaming her, but no!
It's wrong. What happened to you is wrong.
Remember, Doc.
Where the hell have you been, Pascal? Maybe you could have been a little helpful the day Gage died, you ghost jerkface.
The ground is sour.
If it doesn't work, if he comes back, and he's like Judd said Timmy Benjamin was, I'll just put him back to sleep.
Okay, let me make something very clear about this.
Lewis isn't stupid. He is in extreme grief. And the burial ground knows that.
Lewis is so grief-stricken, he's doing something no sane person would ever do. Not to mention, he's still being corrupted by the evil forces in the burial ground. The power behind it beckons people to go to it, makes them feel really good, kind of like being high, and the weaker the person is, the more susceptible they are to its charms. It took an interest in Lewis from the beginning and used Judd to introduce him to its power. Anyone who has lost someone they love dearly have all thought, I wish I could just see or talk to them just one more time. And Lewis sees this as a chance to do just that. Ellie wakes up from a nightmare where Pascal infiltrated her dreams to warn her about what Lewis is up to. Smart move considering how far gone Lewis is.
Now, I want you to go to sleep and forget all this nonsense. Do you hear me?
Go to sleep at 3 o'clock in the afternoon.
He was trying to help me because Daddy was helping him when his soul
Incorporate.
Aw, look how proud he is. Rachel tries to call the house, but Lewis is a little busy, so Rachel tries Judd.
Ew, what? Why would they have that hanging in their house?
I just wondered if he was with you.
No. But if he drops by, I'll tell him to call you.
Don't bother, Judd. I'm coming home.
Rachel, now.
You don't want to do that?
I have to do it, Judd. Goodbye.
You've done it, you stupid old man. Now you've got to undo it.
Meanwhile.
Oh, yeah. Good job there, cops. Doing a real thorough job.
It's going to be all right. I swear it's going to be all right.
I don't want to be that guy, but if Gage was hit by a semi-truck going that fast and like dead center, the kid wouldn't have a head left. He would be in pieces. He'd be in little tiny pieces all over the road.
I'm coming for you, Rachel.
Gage and I will get you.
While Rachel rushes to her destination, the burial ground puts Judd to sleep so he won't get in the way of its plans.
I'm sorry, it's been very busy. I really don't have anything.
What about the Ares K?
I do have an Ares K. I'll take it.
Didn't know Pascal was a Jedi.
Lewis makes his way up the mountain when...
I don't know.
I'm not 100% sure what this is supposed to be. When I was a kid, I thought it was Pascal trying to scare Lewis into stopping. It kind of looks like Erwin, Rachel's dad, or maybe Judd. I think it might also be a nod to the Wendigo, but honestly, I'm at a loss.
See? Just imagination.
Oh, yeah, he sounds like a completely sane person, right? Lewis piles rocks onto his baby boy.
Come back to me, Gage.
While Rachel tries her best to get back with the help of Pascal.
It's trying to stop you. Do you hear me? It's trying to stop you.
The creature wearing Gage's skin emerges from the rocks and pays the doc a visit to borrow his scalpel. Judd wakes up too late to see tiny muddy footprints heading into his house, so he goes in.
I don't think I would have gone in there.
I kind of understand why he would, though. He feels responsible for the events that took place, so I'm sure he's just trying to make things right. Judd follows the sound of the creatures beckoning to come find it, and...
Where did you...
Ah, with the heels. Oh, and the mouth. So I guess in this scene, Miko thought he hurt Fred, and it freaked him out a little bit, which I could see a little baby getting really upset thinking that they hurt an adult like that. Poor baby.
Aw, poor Judd. Rachel makes it back by hitching a ride with one of the Orinco trucks, and Pascal says goodbye.
I'm sure things will be fine.
I'm not.
It's official. It's impossible to hate Pascal.
The creature draws Rachel to Judd's house away from Lewis.
I finally came back for you, Rachel. I'm going to twist your back like mine. Never get out of bed again! Never get out of bed again!
Gage.
Notice how Gage is dressed like Zelda from that creepy painting and can speak clearly instead of baby talk?
I got you something, Mommy.
Yes, I know it's weird she doesn't seem to question that her dead son is now standing in front of her, but you'd be surprised what grief can do to a person. Some symptoms are common: weight loss, lack of energy, and depression. In rare extreme cases, the person suffering bereavement can experience hallucinations that can last up to a year. A year.
Oh, Gage. Gage.
I brought you something.
The acting in this movie is so good. I want to know this, and I don't think it's ever been answered, but was that fall, was that like scripted, or was that an accident and the actor just rolled with it? Because that looked really real. Like, that looked like that shit hurt.
Gage. Oh my God.
I didn't notice this until a much better YouTuber than me pointed it out.
That Lewis put Gage's toys out so they'd be there when he returned.
Hello? Hello, Lewis. It's Erwin. Did she get back all right?
Yes, she's fine.
Put her on at that end, and I'll put Ellie on this one. Ellie had a dream that her mother was dead.
Erwin, I can't talk to you right now.
Yeah, I keep forgetting to mention because I don't really care about Ellie, but she has prophetic dreams every time something terrible is about to happen. She dreamt Church died when Lewis was digging up Gage, and now with the death of her mother.
Erwin, I told you I can't talk to you right now.
Alright, does, Daddy. Will you come over and play with me? First I played with Dad, then Mommy came, and I played with Mommy. Now I want to play with you.
What did you do?
Church is the first on his list and finally does what he should have done the minute he realized what it was. Wow, look at that 1,000-yard stare.
Today is Thanksgiving Day for cats, but only if they came back from the dead.
Sure, Lewis.
I wonder what liquid expels evil spirits from corpses. Maybe holy water?
Go on. Lie down. Play dead. Be dead!
It's just a dead cat prop, right? Because that looks really real. Fun fact, the house across the street from the Creed house was actually a tiny little cottage, and they built Judd's house all in front of it. It's pretty cool.
Huh. Gage has turned Judd's house into every survival horror game from the PlayStation.
The production team did a fabulous job on this place.
scared you, didn't I?
Lewis slowly makes his way around the house and finds what's left of his neighbor and wife. I'm not sure who got it worse here.
Suddenly, I was attacked by a Muppet.
Yes, I know this is the whole Chucky thing all over again. It's a small person, just throw him off. It may look like Gage, but it's not. It is much, much stronger than it looks. Lewis manages to throw it off, and the next scene never fails to make me tear up.
No fair. No fair, no fair.
Oh, that looks like that fall was a real one too.
I can't help but feel immense pity for Lewis. In such a short time, he's lost the majority of his family. I'd like to think if he had sobered up to what he's done, he could have broken the hold the Force had on him. Maybe start again with Ellie someplace new. Unfortunately, he's too corrupted at this point.
To show what a great actor Dale is, this entire scene, it was shot once, and he got burned in the side of his face, but you can't tell by the way he's walking. He flinches, of course, but...
I'm sorry, Lewis, but don't make it worse.
She just died. She just died a little while ago.
Lewis, don't! Please! Lewis! No!
Lewis gets back from burying his wife and decides to play a game of solitaire. And none of this would have happened if you just would have been honest with your kid.
Oh man, this is not a nice movie.
Don't get me wrong, I mean, the movie isn't bad.
This movie is freaking phenomenal.
It deals in some of the darkest subject matter people tend to look away from. Stephen King once said that Pet Sematary was the scariest book he's ever written, and I am inclined to agree, and I think this adaptation is done well. Honestly, this review was hard to get through as I chose the movie and started working on it before my grandmother passed away. It's made the movie even more terrifying to me because I can understand the feeling of wishing you could do something, anything, to see the one you love again. It's crazy how a person can be there one day and gone the next. I know it's common knowledge, but we do tend to forget it. So if I can leave you with one last thing this episode, my advice
is don't wait to tell people that you love them, that you care about them. Because you never know. You don't. Tell them that you love them and how much they mean to you. Thank you for watching, and I'll see you next time.